Rejection stings and I hate it. I mean, if you like rejection, raise your hand. And if you raised your hand right there, I got questions on multiple levels. You're raising your hand, no one's in the room. And you're raising your hand because you like rejection. It's confusing. Hello, friend. My name's Zach, and I want everyone to like me. I mean, what's not to like? I've found, though, that I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and neither are you. In fact, we cannot please everyone, even though I really want to. See, when we get rejected, we can have two reactions that just are not helpful. The first one I'm going to talk about is enmeshment. And this is like oh, you don't like me? I'm going to try harder. And we can almost chameleon and change who we are to win the approval of someone else. And that's not good because that's called being fake. Or we can do the other spot. Maybe you struggle with this. It's detachment, where someone rejects you, so you are going to reject them, like a stiff arm to them as a person. And over time, this can be damaging because not only do you put something between you and that person, but also there's this thing called same species, where you'll start rejecting people that seem like the person that rejected you. Have you ever had this happen where there's a whole personality type that you do not like? And I think we can all fall into this trap. Really what rejection is, it's anxiety. You know, needing to be liked is a false need, but it's one that all of us have. We have this innate desire to want to be liked by others, and this might be something, a real strong drive in your life, or not so strong, but it's still there. And so the first tip just to help with this rejection is just to know that it's anxiety and to notice that it's anxiety inducing. Like if you're in fight, flight, or freeze, right? That's anxiety. Notice you're there and just name it. I'm wanting them to like me. See, anxiety talks in superlatives, so everyone must like me, right? Even though we know that's impossible, that's what happens. In fact, not only does everyone need to like me, but my brain tells me everyone needs to be impressed by me. What a dumb standard when I really think about it, but that's the way anxiety works. It over-exaggerates what's true. But how do we not do that enmeshment thing where we're trying harder and losing who we are in the process? Or detach and alienate others? How do we stand firm in who we are and still love people? And how can rejection actually be a gift? There's 4 things that I've found that have helped me turn rejection from a pain into a gift. Let's dive in. Number 1, when you get rejected, it's super important to remember what God says about you. See, your value, your worth is not in what other people think of you. It's not even in the actions you do. It's in who you are. And the cool thing is, when you are in Christ, who you are is His nature. Your old is dead, the new has come. You have the nature of Christ. You may not even appear to be walking in that, but that's who you are. God says you're worthy because Jesus was worthy, and He gave us that identity when we put our trust in Him. Like, you are a son or daughter of the King. Really, it doesn't matter if others reject you because that is who you are. Number 2, spiritual disciplines. When we operate with spiritual disciplines, it reminds us of who we are in Christ. See, fasting reminds us that we are not of this world, that part of us is spiritual, that though we hunger, there's a spirit man living inside of us. The spiritual discipline of listening prayer is in those moments God can remind us who we are. The discipline of reading His Word to see what it says about us. These are all ways in which we can overcome rejection and stand firm and still love the person. Like when we look at what Jesus did, look at the rejection that He faced and endured and loved anyways. In fact, even unto death, even when He was sitting on the cross, He said, Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. He had empathy for the very people that were killing Him. It's only happened through the power of the Spirit because he was fully God and fully man. And we have the Spirit inside of us. Spiritual disciplines are something that reminds us of that spirit man that is inside of each and every one of us to overcome something as painful as rejection. Number 3, rejection says more about them than you. I can be the same person around one person and get rejected, and someone completely different and be totally loved. Have you noticed that? Some of the things that you get rejected for, like I have a nerdy sense of humor. I love to run. Some of my friends think I'm a psychopath with my running. I like to hunt and fish. I'm also extremely emotional. And in our culture, guys aren't supposed to cry. This dude cries. Some reject me for those things. Others are endeared to me for my quirky behavior. Why? Because it's not about me, it's about them. And I think we can forget this because rejection feels so utterly personal that we can forget it's not even about us. It's about them. In fact, a man did this study, forgive me, because I cannot remember his name. If I find it, I'll put it in the description below. But he did this thing where he intentionally got rejected every day. And so he was doing different weird activities. And what was funny is like some people would do them with him. And that's where I learned this, like that rejection has more to do with them than you. I mean, he was playing soccer in someone's backyard just because he asked. Set up goals and play in their backyard. He went into a shop and asked someone to create the Olympic rings in a donut shop, even though they don't do it, and they did it. And like people were doing amazing things for him because he asked. And then others were really rude and rejected him. And it was in watching this talk he did at Global Leadership Summit that reminded me of this. So I want to make sure to give him credit. Again, it's in the description below. But that it says more about them than it ever will say about you. And it's good to remind us that, not in like a detachment, anger way, but in just empathetic. Number 4, toughen the skin without hardening the heart. Here's the thing, as you seek rejection, you'll begin to callous the skin. And here's why that's important. It's important to callous against the rejection because if you were afraid of rejection, you've made your life smaller. When I've been scared of rejection in my life, I have not moved. I have not done what God's called me to. I have not loved well. I've not been bold. I've been so concerned whether I was received well by the person in front of me that I didn't do what God was calling me to do. My friend, you and I do this all the time. We pull back on life because what will some stranger think about us? This is how rejection can be a gift. Because the more you press in, the more you press through, the more you know who you are in Christ, and so you are not fearing rejection, but you are walking towards rejection, the more a new world opens up. No one likes to be rejected. Like I said at the beginning, if you were raising your hand that you liked rejection, I got questions. None of us like it. But it can be a gift. Because as someone rejects you and you go on the other side and realize, I'm still alive, you'll be willing to step out into it again and again and again. And the life God is calling you to is one that is filled with some rejection. In fact, Jesus' own words said that if we followed him, we would be rejected, just as he was. And so the key is to toughen the skin without hardening the heart. It's still going to sting a little. Don't try to guard your heart in an inappropriate way, but guard it in a manner that you are callousing the skin, but you are still loving the person that rejected you. If you want to know how you can guard your heart in an appropriate way, watch this video right here. I know it'll really help you. Have a great day, and God bless you as you deal with rejection, not run from it.